Welcome. My name is Wade. You're watching DHN Sports. On this channel, we focus on Michigan sports teams from the sports betting perspective. We take a look at the news and events, things that are happening, and see how they affect the lines and odds here in Michigan. Today, we're going to be talking about Week 1, Lions, Green Bay. We're also going to go over some odds and lines for the Spartans and Wolverines season opener, as well as some college football futures. Let's get those out of the way because sportsbooks close those particular props September 4th, if I'm not mistaken. Now, we're both double-digit favorites. MSU, 20.5 points. I believe the line has moved to 21, but I caught it at 20.5 against Western Michigan. Michigan's 40-point favorite. That's expect to hear that a lot this year, talking about Michigan. But with both teams being heavily favored in Week 1, I feel like the best move to make here is to take both of them on the spread in a same game parlay, right? Stack it up. You do it that way, you're looking at a plus 272, all right? A pretty safe bet. That's a 2x on your money, okay? And it's pretty clear that both of our teams are going to perform exceptionally well this year. For MSU, second-year system under Jonathan Smith. Now he's got everybody on board here, right? Aiden has multiple offensive weapons. He has an artillery of offensive weapons from tight end to running back to wide receiver, right? The offensive line, which was a huge question for MSU last season, even that has been improved. So it'll be easy for them to put up at least 21 points on Western Michigan. For the case of Michigan, though, things are a bit trickier, all right? And for that, let's get into the discussion of some college football futures. Starting with Michigan, they are favored to win more than 8 games at minus 180. That's a given. But if they don't, the play on the under is a plus 140. Now, what would stop Michigan from winning 8 or more games? Well, I think it's the fact that starting quarterback out there is 18, right? It's fairly young. And I remember last season watching an 18-year-old Aiden Child step onto the field and throw an interception in his first drive, okay? And he had experience. He had college ball experience. First year as a starter is always tough, even for the greats. So with all of the excitement and hype around Bryce, he's still inexperienced at the collegiate level, and that could be a problem for him. In addition, how many offensive weapons does he have? Not many are standing out right now. Like, yeah, we have great players, lots of talent, but no one is stepping to the top and placing themselves on the same tier as a Bryce Underwood. Whereas in the past, we knew who the receivers were at Michigan. We knew who the running back was, and we knew who the quarterback was. They were all very recognizable. We knew who the guys were on defense that would stop the run and smother out the pass. We don't hear a lot about that this year. Now, I will admit, maybe a bit biased here, because I spent a lot of my time reading up on the green and white. So, if you're a Michigan fan and I'm missing out on something, please let me know down in the comments. But the way that I'm looking at it is like this. The under 8.5 is a decent play if you want to leverage the fact that the offensive attack at Michigan will be inexperienced. For MSU, they're favored to win more than 5 games this year at minus 145. So that particular play, you're leveraging the 2 years of experience under Jonathan Smith. You're leveraging the development of Aiden Childs, and you're leveraging the utility of Nick Marsh, Rodney Bullard, Elijah Ty Tolliver, Jack Veiling, Nakai Martinez on the defense, Wayne Matthews III at linebacker. Okay? Over 5? Come on. We got 5 last year with a a mishmash of guys. Now we got a complete picture. Don't disrespect us, Vegas. And to the point of Michigan, the under 8.5. It's that experience factor, guys. So, only time will tell, obviously, right? Now, as far as which ones that I would be taking, definitely took the over 5 games for MSU. And I haven't made a decision on how I feel about Michigan winning more than 8. When I come to that, I'll definitely make a video about it. But at the end of the day, guys, I do know this for sure. This year's battle for the Paul Bunyan is going to be an absolute dogfight. It really will. So let's get into the money line spread total points here. All of the money is on Detroit. All right. We're a 1.5 point underdog heading into Lambeau. Now, I'm not quite sure why that is the case. You know, we have arguably much better weapons on the offensive side of the ball. I think this is more so leaning towards the Packers' defensive prowess, but dealing with Vegas, man, you never really know. This is a situation where you could fade the public and just ride out on Green Bay, but if you take Detroit at plus 102, that's a double up on your bread. And I'm talking outright money line bet, where with a money line bet, you're simply picking who's going to win the game. Doesn't matter by how many points, doesn't matter how many touchdowns a particular player scores. It's just when the clock hits 0, who has the most points? It's that simple, right? Not pretty, but effective. That's how I like to look at it. So as far as which way I'm leaning, I mean, obviously, you can tell by the poster on the wall, I'm putting my money on the boys. But I wouldn't be surprised if Green Bay catches us slipping because of how strong their defense is. Now, of course, the joys of betting include anytime touchdowns. And we got quite a few interesting ones in this game, guys. Jahmyr Gibbs coming in at minus 175. I think that's a given considering how the Lions play offense. We will run it down your throat. And there has only been more talk about that in the offseason, implementing more dual running back attacks. So we'll see Gibbs and Montgomery on the field at the same time even more this year. And to that point, David Montgomery plus 120. I know Gibbs is still the guy, but I still got faith in David. He's going to put up some numbers this year. Definitely some good production. Would I take him in this game? Yeah. Simply for the fact that we know Dan wants to have both of them on the field a lot more often. So I'm on at plus 125. It's Amon-Ra St. Brown. So he going to get in there. But there is also the J-Mo factor. And I've also heard in the offseason they want to give him a lot more attention this season as well. More to balance out the reps between St. Brown and J-Mo. So I personally am expecting a J-Mo show. And when I get into the top season opener prop, the one that I'm placing myself, you'll understand what I'm getting at here. But we have J-Mo coming in at plus 195. I think in the first few weeks he could be the primary target, and I'm riding on him in this first game. I really am. Sam Laporta coming in at plus 205. This is the definition of an anytime touchdown scorer, because you never know when Sam is going to get into the end zone. Let's just be honest here. And then we have Isaac Tesla, ladies and gentlemen, at a plus 550. Now, he did put on in his preseason debut lots of quality reps. Some Lions fans are asking, is this why Tim Patrick got the boot? I'm not going to pull on that one, but I will agree that Isaac was very impressive in the preseason. Would he get a touchdown in this very first game? I mean, at plus 550, that's a decent deal. If you don't put on any other action, if you don't get into any other action for the game, just put in any time on Isaac at plus 550, you'll come out okay, win or lose. Win or lose here. And then we got Jared Goff at plus 1,200 to score on his own. So they're implying Jared Goff is just going to run the ball into the end zone. I mean, he did catch and throw touchdown passes in the same game last year. Jared Goff does Goff type things. But his last rushing touchdown was 2 years ago, 2023. He was wearing a Lions uniform, but 2 years ago. In his career, he only has 12 of them. So take that with a grain of salt is how I'm feeling. But let's get to this best bet, guys. Best bet for Lions versus Packers week 1. Here's what I'm doing. I'm taking Detroit on the money line at plus 102. I'm also taking Jameson Williams anytime touchdown. Okay. And then ending that with 6 receptions from J-Mo. That is a plus 1,000 on this week 1 game against the Packers, ladies and gentlemen. Now, on this channel, we'll get deeper into bankroll management, but I'll share a tidbit with you here. My units for my bankroll, this particular one, very small. And I do that because my goal is not to make a bunch of cash quickly. All right. Thank God I'm in a blessed position. I don't necessarily need to worry about that. What I enjoy is the challenge of sports betting. Okay. And if you enjoy the challenge of it, it is very wise to have an effective bankroll management strategy. Okay. We'll get more into lot sizes down the road when we get a little bit of lull in the action. I know football season is coming up. That's going to be hard, but I have the website that you can refer to as well. I'll be sharing information in the community tab. But Detroit on the money line, J-Mo touchdown, 6 receptions. I think that is very doable. We're talking 3 receptions in the first half, 3 in the second half. With J-Mo's 40 speed, he's scoring. He's scoring on one of those, right? And you'll notice that I didn't add a receiving yards prop to the parlay because 6 receptions could get you 16 yards or they could get you 160 yards. We just don't know. But what we do know is that he's going to have to catch at least 6 passes if they're thrown to him. He's going to want to. When it comes to setting up parlays, my trick is situational football. What things have to occur in this game particularly? That's how I look at it. And that's the motivation for this particular parlay. I want the Lions to win. There's a good chance that they will. And in that process, one of the people that will score is going to be Jameson Williams. And in that process, well, he's probably not going to score on the first catch. He's got to warm up. That's at least 3. Then those next 3, he's hot. He catches 2 more, and then the 6th reception is the touchdown. And we're in the money, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? We're in the money.